and concisely. And once you learn how to do that, then you can bring in all the stakeholders and you can get into programs that'll help you and train you on how to build it. But that first step is you have to design a business model that is desirable.
When I initially moved back to Pensacola, I had a meeting with Lloyd. Lloyd invited me for breakfast and I was telling him, man, I still have an idea for the entertainment industry. This is what I wanted to do. He was like, all right, I got Startup on the Blocks. So I need you to start coming to Startup on the Blocks and get a little more information on how to work through the tech ecosystem and take your idea and we'll get you where you need to go. My company is called The Know, is an app that is streamlining business for the entertainment industry. Yeah, so if you're a musician, what you would do is pretty much jump on the platform, you'll create a profile, but the way we created the profile is pretty much a cleaner way. So now if they want more information about you, you'll connect your social media platforms, your streaming platforms, and that way they can go directly to it. What we also have included is your calendar. So pretty much you can set your days, you can set your price for your days and automate your booking. So initially talking to Lloyd, my idea was all here, it was there, it was over here, it was over there. It was like, all right, Quinn, I get it. You got a lot that you want to do, but we need you to bring it in just a little bit and then work on your pitch, your story, and how you're going to bring it full circle to get people to understand what you're trying to create.
Most of the programs here wasn't inclusive, and so we said we'll focus on helping founders of color. We also start at the beginning of the thing, at the idea stage, whereas a lot of the programs you see here locally, they start after you're up, and that's not very efficient unless you have, if you don't have a lot of money, you can't recover from your mistakes. And the lean startup system, it actually helps you make mistakes faster before you spend a lot of money. You don't actually start building anything until you got customer buy-in.
There was a need for small businesses to bring brand awareness to their business. I see there's a lot of makers and bakers that they're making all of these goodies and these products, but they can't market it, they can't sell it at the same time, and there needs to be kind of like that middleman, that middle person to help bring economic growth to some of the small businesses in Pensacola. So Taste of Pensacola, I came up with that idea during the pandemic when I saw things at that time that Amazon couldn't fulfill. They didn't even have those products, but the local people in the community, they did. And so there was a ton of people coming out saying, hey, I make masks. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. All the local people here that are just as talented that can actually make those products. And so I wanted to kind of showcase who they were. So with Taste of Pensacola, our income streams, we have several of them. We have the corporate America, we do corporate gifting, just regular consumers, different Pensacola natives that don't live here that want to purchase our boxes, like a taste of weddings, distribution. So we also do bulk sales. So for a private airline, if they want some local snacks and goodies on their passenger flights, they will come to Taste of Pensacola and we will source their vendors here locally. And we'll give a small business owner an opportunity to have reoccurring monthly sales. I've always had a really big vision for Taste of Pensacola. I knew that it could go beyond just local. I know that maybe other communities could possibly use the same platform that I'm trying to build. And I always have these big visions, but I never know how to even get there. Where do I start? I know it's more than, there's a lot of technical things behind it. I know there's a lot of research, but that connection, I never had it until, thankfully, again, I met and was introduced to Startups on the Blocks and was able to just learn more about how to grow it in terms of data. Things I just never thought about, framework, words like traction. There's a lot of things that I just did not know about and language that I need to know in order to get funding for my business. There's just a lot that I didn't know.
I would go to the stores and look online. They didn't have a wide variety of natural hair products about 8 years ago. And the ones that they did have, the ingredients, it would say that they were all natural. And when I would research the ingredients, a lot of the ingredients were not natural. I make everything, my shampoo, conditioner, I have an oil that I make, and I have 2 different separate butters. Like I had some people who were completely bald and grew their hair. It's about giving women their confidence back in their hair. I have this salon and I have a second salon, and I have my products in about 5 beauty supply stores. So I need a manufacturer to keep up with the demand at this point. Startup on the Blocks has helped my business grow. Send me to different people. I'm able to do different pitch competitions to apply for grants in the community for small businesses. Lloyd's a really good person to connect with. He has a lot of resources here in the community that can help small businesses grow. If you have a product out there and you're trying to go big time, he's the person that you would want to meet with.
So it's really important to have some type of support because 9 times out of 10, most founders start out on their own. And to have somebody that has an idea of how the ecosystem works and is able to tap into other resources and bring back to the community, and that pretty much has encountered some of the roadblocks or going through the same roadblocks that we're currently going through and understands where you're at, your culture and how you respond to things, is a big help because you don't really have too many people that have access to what we have access to here in the community. And a lot of people believe that you have to leave and go to bigger cities to do the things that we're doing here. But I mean, it's one thing to have exposure, but you have to actually know it's here in the community in order to take advantage of the resources. So I get approached and I talk to friends all the time that wants to either start an idea or hear that I'm actually doing the app and wants to know more information about how are you doing it or what's the process, what's the path. I'm like, man, we have somebody here, Startup on the Blocks, Lloyd Richard. And Lloyd is here, he's a great resource to the community and to founders that's trying to learn the ecosystem. So join Startup on the Blocks.
Yes, to join Startup on the Blocks. Welcome, everybody. Another Thursday. We're glad to be here. A lot of things, good things are going on out in the startup world here. So we're looking forward to sharing them with you. And we got some exciting things coming up. So we want to share that info as well. So I'm going to riding solo tonight. My son may come on a little later, but yeah, so we have our Black Founders Innovation Summit coming up next month on the 18th and 19th of April. And so we want to get everybody psyched up for that. And so tonight we're going to kind of talk about getting everybody on the same page about AI and kind of level setting that to kind of so we can kind of move forward with the future and actually take advantage of it. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen and giving a shout out to our sponsors, and all excited about that. And yeah, so we're looking forward to highlighting them at our Innovation Summit next month as well. And so that will be it's going to be pretty great, and definitely excited about it. I'll give everybody the registration information and the website for the summit as well. Yes, so big shout out to our partners and sponsors that's been supporting us throughout the years. We got started with this particular program back in 2020, August of 2020. So we missed one scheduled event since then. We've been doing them every week. And so it's just an opportunity for folks to kind of learn about the startup ecosystem and learn about some of the opportunities in the ecosystem, learn how to prepare for the ecosystem, just getting the best practice. We had Charles in the networking, and he's got a lot of ideas and a lot of businesses popping up. So we're hopeful to help people like him to kind of move forward and take advantage of the resources and in the ecosystem. But we do that. We're able to do that because of the support of our founders. And what we have here is the Lightbulb thing is one of our training partners. That's the Startup Science, and so that's a platform where you can learn all the language about the startup ecosystem and how to communicate with stakeholders that will help you, how to communicate with investors, how to communicate with mentors. Is just how to speak the entrepreneurial language. And so when you get asked questions, if you go through the startup science training, you will actually know how to communicate. You know what these terms mean, and so it's a great resource. And so a lot of times when you have a business idea and you don't know how to process that business idea, and that's what the lean stack is all about. It's just how I got an idea now. What do I do? Lean Stack has a step-by-step methodology for you to stress test that idea, build a business model around it, learn how to talk about it, or how to pitch it, so you can get co-founders to help you build it. You can get into programs that'll help you connect you with resources and train you on how to move forward. And there's a lot of initiatives going on around the country, like with the Black Innovation Leaders of Florida, just trying to make sure innovation is a priority for Black people. And the Black Innovation Alliance, it's a fantastic organization that's supporting organizations like the Cuckoo Institute to help spread, to help leverage resources to serve entrepreneurs out there. And I've received a lot of my training, but for the Cuckoo Institute through Goody Nation out of Atlanta. So there's all these resources out there that'll help founders. And so, and we definitely all about AI. So Coda is kind of a back office software that's full AI powered. You can talk to all your documents. You can create websites, create forms. You can, yeah. So we actually leverage that to store all our founder information and keep track of their progress. And so it's pretty fantastic. And I was listening to Jason Calacanis this week in Startup. That's their favorite platform for actually for keeping track of their startups as well, and collaborating with their investors. So it's a pretty neat platform. And so yeah, and to think that it's got unlimited AI for, if you, so like, because they're our partner, you can actually get that free for 6 months and just use the AI as much as you want. Make startups. We're glad to have them as a partner. Got a lot of good training through them on how to do stuff. And these are some of our sponsors, and a few more of our partners as well. These organizations are definitely interested in supporting Black founders and helping them move forward. And so that's what's so powerful. Companies want to actually help you, mature your idea. And so they support us because they know we're trying to provide the best practices for helping founders. And so once you learn how to talk about your idea, you can get money, you can recruit co-founders, and you can get into programs and stuff like that. So it's a really big deal. I guess I didn't make a slide for the Synapse Summit that's coming up this month, actually on the 25th, I believe. And so that's as a founder, you could have a booth down there for that summit. It's a 1-day thing. It's $250, normally like $2,500. And so, but you get 4 tickets to do it. So you can talk about your startup, or like in my case, I'll be down there talking about our organization. But it's a great chance to meet every type of person in the ecosystem to kind of help you move forward. And so I'm not sure if I can share the link today, but I'll try to find that link and share. You can actually request a scholarship to get a booth down there, and so you pay $250. You get 4 tickets. You get a table, and so and you get to meet people. And yeah, a lot of networking. So it's a really good opportunity. So just want you to know that the sponsors make it happen, and so without them, we couldn't provide the support that we're doing. So this is basically what we do. This whole idea is, if you got an idea, what should you do? What are the best practices? You don't want to be out there spinning your wheels. You don't want to be out there not knowing what the next step. And so that's why we try to lead founders through this process of designing, pitching, and launching their business models, and recruiting co-founders, securing mentors and partners. We have Lean Stack trained coaches that can coach you through the Lean Stack process. And like, we use our startup science to help you understand the milestones that your company has to go through in the life cycle. This is what startup science and Lean Stack is more about the startup milestones here. So, but once you kind of know how to communicate what you're doing, that literally unlocks resources that help you move forward. And so you want to be able to engage with all these organizations out there in the ecosystem to kind of help you move forward. So tonight we're talking about Black wealth and AI, but it's all about, you know, understanding what AI is right now and learning how you can actually leverage it to build something great for the future. Hello, Berthel. Glad to see you're on tonight, and I think you'll enjoy what we're going to share tonight. It's definitely pretty neat. Yeah. So, like for example, I was trying to get Vercel involved in AI. You know, like in I guess the early 2000s, and with his company. But you know, it's a hard thing for people to understand, whether you're white or black. Is still, you know, hard to understand, but you know, there's so many tools out there that, you know, you can leverage it to kind of move forward. So yeah, this is the time is now for you to kind of realize you can learn how to use the AI tools and to learn how to use it to actually um, help you with your startup. I mean, yeah, it's literally amazing, and it's overwhelming at times. But if you're willing to learn and want to take time to learn, you can actually leverage it to kind of move forward. So I'm definitely excited about all the opportunities, and so I've definitely been leveraging it with the Kakuri Institute and with the startups and stuff like that. So to kind of help people learn. So that's really great. Yep. And so we'll say this one more time. These are the trainings we offer, the Lean Stack. That's all your business modeling, business planning. You can use whatever term you want. As people used to talk about business plan, but we talk in the startup world, they talk about business models and not business plan. But business modeling is business planning. So it's a pretty neat thing. Uh, Over the weekend, I was using our business idea prompt, where it actually once you give it your business idea, it helps design your business model and pitch information, all the stuff that you need to kind of get started. And then Tony, he's high on Notebook LM, and I'm Google's Notebook LM, so I'm getting pretty high on it. So I had this idea that I would take that results from that prompt, that business idea prompt, and that's, you know, got my business models in it. It's got my pitch in it. It's got my rollout plan. It's got all the different ways I can make money. It's got all my customer segments. It's got all that stuff. So I said, well, let me just take that output and dump it in Notebook LM and let Notebook LM create a podcast. And then I can literally talk to my business model. So I can join the podcast and talk to the folks talking on there and ask questions about my business models and ask for clarification in more detail and everything. So it's literally amazing to kind of help you move forward. And talking to my son this week too, it's like when two people start talking and, you know, sharing ideas, that's when you come up with ways to kind of innovate and move forward with whatever you're doing. And so, but for the basis of your business idea or your business and trying to help it grow, this Lean Stack and Startup Science, these are the two things you need. And then this Co-Founder OS it's more like you know, helping measure your entrepreneurship skills, you know, and leveraging AI to help do that. And so Charles, he was in the network, and he's got a lot of intellectual property that he's creating. And so so the Patent Hacks training, it actually gets you make sure you understand all the things about trademarks and patents. And so we created an AI agent for the patent thing and an AI agent for the trademark thing. You can literally talk to the chat with these agents and get any question answered about trademarks of patents. So you don't have to be sitting wondering, what about stuff. You can. That's what the deal is. And we do the same thing with the entrepreneurship training. If you got a question about business models and stuff like that, we have an AI agent for that to kind of help you move forward. And so, Sandra's asking, can the AI tools convert PowerPoint slides into audio overlays? And so I'm thinking you saying going from a PowerPoint to an audio. But what I would do if I were you, Sandra, I would take that PowerPoint and what other related stuff, and I would upload it to Notebook LM. So that's notebooklm.google.com, and then it'll create a podcast for it. That's one thing you can actually do it, and then but yeah, so there are a lot of I'm not sure what you're trying to accomplish. You mean like to talk you through um, the PowerPoint or the voiceover? I guess that's what you're saying. So we can take a look and see if there's something out there. There's definitely yeah. I think you can. What if I had to do something like that? What I would do is I would create a script for the PowerPoint, and then I would dump it into one of the text to speech things and and I use Descript. So if I got text, I can dump it in there, and it'll generate the audio in my voice or some other person's voice and move forward. So there are plenty of tools out there that allow you to do it. But and what you're asking is you want the AI to understand what it sees in your PowerPoint and talk about it. Now, so another thing you can do, you can actually, depending on which AI tool you use, ChatGPT or Google, if you add that, you can have it interpret what's on the PowerPoint slides and then ask it to generate a script for that, and then do a speech to text. So, but there's always a way to do it. So that's kind of the deal there, Sandra. Okay, so yeah, but yeah, yeah. So there's some strategies you can actually uh, to use for that. So, but it just wouldn't take long to figure out a good approach to get that done. That's the neat thing about the AI tools is no matter what you want to do, what ideas you have, you can leverage these AI tools to kind of innovate around those ideas. I think that's the idea I'm thinking about. But keep asking questions like that, and then but I would literally just like go into Chat GPT and ask that question. I would go into Perplexity and ask that question, and and I don't know if you all are aware of since Mistral, they came out with a phone app and they have a free version. But the thing about their free version, if you look in the email today, I got the link to it. It actually will let you, if you don't have a paid Chat GPT account, you can actually use Mistral. It'll let you attach a slide or something to it, and then it help you analyze that information. But if you got an idea, that's probably somebody's probably came up with an app or something to do it. Yeah, and the tool that you'll hear about a little bit about today, Gamma. I mentioned it before. You just tell it what you want a presentation about, and it'll kind of move forward from there. So let me speed up here a little bit. So this is the big news. We're announcing our Black Founders Innovation Summit. This is our second annual summit. Last year we had 92 people attended in person, and 180 something had signed up for online. So it'll be great, big, and better this year. So just what I'm recommending to everybody is go ahead and register, even if you have a conflict on a date, because if you register, we'll make sure you have access to the videos, the stream and the videos after the event is over. And so we're leveraging sponsors to pay for the registrations. So, but if you can't afford to pay for your registration, you can use that QR code to kind of pay for your registration. Let's see what else I got here. So I won't go through all this because, but anyway, I'll take a second. So this is kind of the process we take people through in the lean stack program, and then this is kind of process you go through in the startup science program. So I'm going to stop right there. Anybody got any questions before I got a video I want to share with you all about Black Weapon AI, and it's going to literally knock your socks off. So I'm going to go ahead and cue that up. Let me stop sharing here and get that ready for you all. So if you got, how do you all actually, feel about AI and, right now? Because there's some people are kind of afraid of it. So I'm just curious, how you feel about it. So if you could put in the chat like if score from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how do you feel about AI in the future? And one of the things I learned last week, which I already knew, was that the capability of AI doubles every 12 months. So it's actually, I think it doubles faster than that. So, but but that's kind of the way I see it, because it's innovation is just occurring so fast. It's just truly amazing. So I'm going to share this video. So it's from the Black Economic Alliance, but it's all about AI, and Black wealth. And these are the key people in the industry, but just kind of use this as a level set. Okay, so yeah, so Sandra feels like a 10. That's great. Okay, let me get this keyed up and make sure I share the audio here. I got the audio. Let's see if I can still do it. Okay, all right. I think I got it here, and here it goes. And so I'm going to get started listening, and I promise you won't regret just listening to this video.
Talk about AI, and I want to make sure we actually do a little bit of AI. And so, Stephen, where's Stephen? Okay, so Stephen's on my team. Who in here has ever written a song? Anybody written a song? All right. How long did it take you? A couple days? I want you, Stephen, to take your phone out, get the Udio app, and I want you to make me a hip hop song before the end of this panel. I want it to be about Black people in suits at the BEA Solution Summit. I'm giving you my prompts now.
Yeah.
Who take over technology.
There you go.
And I want you to make some clever riffs on business strategies. These are all business strategists. All right. Now, before
make it sound like Drake now.
And make it sound. Okay, good. Now, before this is over, I want you to use your AI stuff, and at the end, we will do your thing, and we'll play it. So, thank you very much. Now, start. Now, look, here we go. So, look, when we're thinking about Black folks, we often think about history, Black history. We have a whole Black History Month. At some point, we need to have a Black Future weekend. What is the Black future? What are we doing? Where are we going? The people who made Black history were not trying to make Black history. They were trying to make the Black future better. Mm-hmm. And so we now have arrived at a time where AI, quantum computing, and biotech are going to change the future. And it's going to create new opportunities for wealth. It's going to create new opportunities for innovation, social impact. And we have a panel of people who are literally the best people in the world to talk about this massive transformation in the way it impacts our community. So let me start with XIE. I want to start with X because you probably don't even know who this is. Everybody else up here is a little bit, a little bit better known. X has spent 12 years in AI, worked at Microsoft, worked at Google, built the team that taught AI how to see Black people. Because AI actually literally could not see Black people until X arrived. So I want. I have 2 songs. What? I have 2 songs for you.
Already.
Oh, he has 2 songs?
Oh.
Hold on a second. I really despise this generation.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's hear your 2 songs that you wrote in 1 minute.
I didn't write it.
Exactly.
Hold it up to your mic.
Stepping in the game, suited sharp, we playing chess, yeah. Dominating tech, we the kings, no need to guess, yeah. Black ties, sharp minds, moving with finesse, baby. Strategic moves ahead, this summit is a bless, baby.
I'm saying van, we synergize, merging public private ties, baby. We've been wise, teaching slips to improvise, baby. Yeah. Took the stage, it's our domain. Brought the pieces to the frame. Had to show 'em, got the play. Got the play, we set the
That's crazy.
And by the way, Van is one of his portfolio companies.
And by the way, John Hope Bryant, you're gonna have to let me do my thing here. Chris Lyons put the money into the company that made that. Literally, how many seconds did it take you to create that song? 40 seconds. The lyrics were made by AI, the beat, the music, the production, all of that. So when we're talking about disruption, we're talking about something that we literally have never seen before. Mm-hmm. And one of the few people who understand all this stuff, who are Black, are on this stage right here. Mm-hmm. And I want to start with you, X. You saw this coming. Mm-hmm. You frankly helped make some of it happen. Talk to us about where we are in the inflection point and what you're focused on, what you're concerned about and excited about when it comes to AI.
Yeah, so I think artificial intelligence is everything everywhere all at once, right? It's in all of our faces, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's Siri or Alexa going off when you don't want them to. And right now we're at a point where AI is everywhere, but it's new enough where we can still shape where it's going, right? And AI stands to either catapult our progress in the future, catapult our continued growth and liberation, or it stands to automate away all of our progress. So on the one hand, AI can really shape our future in a more equitable way. For example, education has been something that has been a systemic barrier to Black and brown folks equitably participating in this society. Mm-hmm. Well, there are free tools by both Microsoft and Google where students who need to improve their reading skills or adults who might not be reading at a good level can download these tools completely free. They can read out loud to an AI, and it will coach them on their reading in real time in the privacy of their home, right? So Google's app is called Read Along, Microsoft's is called Reading Coach. Microsoft's tool even allows you to upload your own stories, so you're not getting some generic thing. You can use an AI to remix a story about LeBron getting swept in the playoffs and have your child read from that. And so now we're not relying on...
LA, baby.
So now we're not relying on government entities to eventually someday fix our education structure or for our communities to happen to end up in the right neighborhoods with the right teachers who can help our students catch up. And this is critical because in 2022, it was reported that 84% of Black students in the 4th grade were reading below their grade level.
80%.
84% in 2022 in the US. And around the world, there are 300 million people who can't read or write. So tools like that stand to help level the playing field so that we can all equally participate. But on the flip side, AI is a real and present threat. And I'm not talking about the AGI that they're arguing about when it's going to come, the robots that are like Terminator. And I'm also not talking about job loss. I'm talking about real and present tools that have been deployed over the past decade that have done massive amounts of harm to our community. For example, artificial intelligence has been used in child protective services. What they've done is they've created an AI that's supposed to assess risk that a child is at harm, assess risk that a child will be harmed. So what they do is they take the kid's case file, they feed it to this AI, and it assigns a score between 0 and 100. 0 meaning the kid's not in danger at all, 100 meaning this child is most likely going to die. Well, in 2015 to 2017, the state of Illinois ran a study with that AI and tested it out. It flagged over 360 kids as 100% in danger, and none of them were. It missed children that were actually in danger. All the children that it flagged at 90% or above, so the 4,100 children that it flagged, were Black and brown. So Illinois said, oh no, we're not using this system. They got rid of it, yet more than a dozen states in the US still use that system today. You look at AI in healthcare. In 2019, United Healthcare Group got in trouble because they had created an algorithm that was supposed to decide whether or not you needed to see a specialist. That algorithm used on over 70 million Americans was recommending that sicker Black patients don't see the specialist over healthy white patients. They got sued for that. Well, fast forward to 2023 and United Healthcare Group is getting sued again because another algorithm that they deployed to automatically approve or deny claims has a 90% error rate.
Damn.
And it's used in over 50% of claims, all medical claims processed in the US. You look at Moderna. Have you guys seen the news about Moderna? We've got 750 custom trained chat GPTs we're using. Well, in the last 3 years, tons of research has come out that shows that large language models like ChatGPT are extremely biased based on race, based on gender, based on whether or not it thinks you speak English as a first or a second language. And despite this, Moderna is in the news bragging, saying we're going to turn this thing on in clinical trials to determine what doses people should get. These algorithms that are being used right now under our noses are shaping the very future that we're going to have. Those same large language models, the state of Texas on April 10th just announced that they're going to be using large language models to grade the students' end of year tests. So they take the end of year, STAR tests or whatever, they have to write an essay. They're going to be using that to grade it. How are you using something that's biased against our communities, biased against students who don't speak English as a first language to grade their progress and determine whether or not they are proficient at their grade level? These things are here right now. So that inflection point is we have to decide, are we going to intentionally shape AI to be used in continued service of our growth and our progress? Or are we going to sit by idly, hoping that people like Elon Musk figure it out, people like myself figure it out, and wait while it automates away all of the progress that our ancestors have fought for? And so that's the choice we have to make right now. And it's not one that I can make alone. So I'll stop there.
That's great. Good. I told you. I told you. So there's the bad part, and then there's the good part. There's a way this technology can be used for harm, and there's a way this technology can be used to build. Brother Phillips here is somebody who is probably quite bored with this whole conversation because you were AI before AI was cool. You've always been tech forward. You have 9 companies in your portfolio right now that are all AI company or AI influence companies. Talk a little bit about how you see the world from being one of the business titans on the planet right now who's using this to build companies. What do you see?
Well, one little context, this has been going on a long time, as you mentioned. And what changed in 2017 was Google came up with something called transformer technology and applied AI to languages. And so the reason they didn't commercialize it is because an engineer went rogue and claimed that it was sentient, that it could understand was a real person. So a bunch of senators called, got after Google. Google tried to shut it down, and those engineers left and went to OpenAI and Microsoft. So this has been going on for a while. It's still early days, though. This is going to take a while to play out, just like the internet did. The issues we have, just like X said, we have many more issues on hallucinations. We have IP infringement. They crawled the entire internet, didn't tell anybody they were doing it. So there's lots of reasons where people are cautious on this. So I would say, if you look at OpenAI platform, the last update in 2023, that was a 3-year update. So it updated every 3 years. So it's not current. So there's lots of reasons why this is going to take a while to play out and mature. So I would say we have time to figure it out, to try to solve some of these issues, and people should be cautious on where they use it. So I'm on the boards of lots of large companies. They're being cautious. They want to make sure they don't miss it, but you don't want to put this in front of your customers if you don't have to yet till some of these problems are solved. A lot of money is going into this area. There will be a bubble that bursts at some point. Last year, with $21 billion went to AI startups. That's 5 times than the year before. If you look at all the machine learning and the supercomputers they're buying from NVIDIA and others, they spent $50 billion last year and got $3 billion in revenue. That's not sustainable. So we're in a hype cycle right now. It will burst at some point and it'll have to level out. So we have some time to figure it out. What I'm more concerned about is when they do figure it out, and maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 3 years, what types of jobs does it impact? And so McKinsey did a great study. They looked at 800 different occupations, broke them down by task, figured out which ones were most exposed. About 43% of the tasks in aggregate could be automated away, but it's very different by job, what type of job you have. Unfortunately, if you look at the top 10 jobs that are most automatable, that's where Black people are overexposed. And so we have to educate ourselves on what those jobs are, things like that.
So wait, so you're saying that right now our folks who have jobs
are disproportionately in those things that can be automated.
Like what kind of jobs can be automated? I do want to talk about how people can make the money, but our cousins probably are going to get fired. So talk about that.
Customer service jobs, contact centers, personal assistants, office workers. They listed all the jobs that we're in, and there's a percentage of the tasks that can be automated. So I thought it was a great report. And so we're disproportionate in those jobs. Those are the jobs that we could get.
Right.
And so we're going to have to figure something out and educate people. Just like if you major in the wrong thing in college, you're going to make less money later. We did that as well. But if you do that on this and you're spending too much percentage of your time in a task that essentially will be automated away, you can see that come as like a slow moving freight train. So we need to educate our people on, you don't want to start here, you want to start there.
This is, I noticed y'all didn't clap when
I had the down. No, I'm sorry.
We'll come back to you because you're also making a bunch of money on this, and I want people to understand how to do it. But let me go to you, Chris. You know, you're at Andreessen Horowitz, one of the, I guess now probably the most impactful venture capital firm in Silicon Valley, probably with no peer at this point. You run the Cultural Leadership Fund, where you basically worked hard to get a bunch of Black folk in on the ground floor as investors in Silicon Valley, which had never been done before. Give them a round of applause for that, by the way. And so you are an investor for a living. You are making bets right now in real time. You put the money into Udio that just wrote 2 songs in 40 seconds, and we could have made it sound like Jay-Z if we wanted to. Though that would be illegal. You know, what are you seeing on we've heard a lot of the negative.
Mm-hmm.
What are you seeing on the positive? How can Black people thrive in this environment? What should we not be doing? What kind of businesses should we not be launching? What kind of businesses should we be launching? And maybe you could start off by talking about your good friend, what's his name?
Cody.
Who?
Cody.
Yeah, Cody from Stanford.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, I think that with everything, there's optimism because it's very easy to say what's going to go wrong, but it's always hard to predict the future, right? In terms of thinking about what the opportunities are. And so just to real quickly, Cody Coleman, he's a founder of a company called Coactive. We led the seed round. He just raised a very large Series A. I mean, he's a Black founder, but he's also just been super passionate about the future of AI, similar to how X has been really seeing the world. And you know, I think that the opportunity now where people can finally look at this space and say, hey, there is an opportunity to leverage AI. I mean, if you think about companies that are being built today, if you're going to say, like, I mean, me and John have talked about this a bunch. You know, we've had to build the rails of saying, okay, hey, let's get people into technology, right? And then so now people are like learning how to code and learning how to get into businesses. And the next stage is, as soon as you do that, then crypto comes along, and now you have to learn crypto. Now AI is now coming into the mix in terms of companies that are going to build businesses. And so if you're a founder and you're building a company that doesn't have any, you know, LLMs or any type of AI solutions, and you have a company that's doing the exact same thing but has an AI model just by default based off of how technology is moving, it's going to be a 10x business. And so, and for our culture, we need to make sure that if you're going to get into businesses and you're going to be getting into the technology space, that to be aware of how AI can actually help.
But this is, I think, like really critical what you're saying, because we have been pushing for Black folks to get involved in business, to become entrepreneurs,
To be coding, engineers.
to be coding, to get in technology, whatever. But you're saying, hold on a second. If you got to build the right technology business, if you're building the technology business you would have thought was cool 3 years ago, not only are you going to get beat by competitors that are going to have an AI charged model, you're not going to be competitive for funding in the first place.
Exactly.
So just talk a little bit more about that, because I think it's important. We at the end, we'll round this thing off. But you're saying, as our basically inside guy who's allocating capital, that you're seeing us make mistakes starting businesses.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not it's great ideas, but like the playing field has already gone to the
AI side.
Yeah, in terms of, having the AI model, it's almost like, when crypto was going, I mean, crypto is back to normal. It goes ups and downs, but like when people always wanted to have crypto in terms of their strategy, but there was no real reason for having, a blockchain technology. And so like when we were making those type of investments, really probing into the why behind it. And so, but now, AI is out the bag. Everyone always talks about, oh, hey, well, there's no way, like we need to, shut it down. We need to bring it back in. Like these things are happening. And now we're finally hitting mainstream and consumer adoption, which is actually an exciting thing. I mean, one of our theses and how we see the world, we think that there's going to be somebody that's going to be able to build $1 billion business just with one person.
A one-person $1 billion business.
That is, we think it's going to happen, and I think it could be us, and I want it to be us, and I want us to be able to know the tools, to be able to know the like. There's an app, it's called Gamma, right? And so like we have a whole bunch of different ideas every day, and people pitch ideas and they write things on a napkin. You can literally go into this app, onto the website, and then type in, I want to make a cookie company in Atlanta that focuses on vegan treats and whatever. And then next thing you know, it'll create an entire PowerPoint presentation for you.
In how long?
10 different slides. And then you can go edit and update.
How much time?
It takes 35 seconds. Literally 35 seconds. And so we're still on PowerPoint presentation. We're still using PowerPoint and Keynote, working on trying to figure out what color our font's going to be. And we've already created the entire foundation for the business. And I think that, it's kind of like, so AI can be that writer's block for any type of person. And we need to be able to share those the information and the knowledge to our community and to our culture, so that now we can get a jump start in terms of how we're thinking about, using AI to help for speech in education systems, and having a model that has empathy, that will sit down and work with you through each type of question and solution. Same thing with bio and health, and using AI to really help create and solve different cancer issues and things like that. So, but we have to be aware of what's going on. The Kendrick Lamar disc came out 24 hours ago, and people can already sing the entire song, but cannot actually know what type of platforms are being built right now that can really help advance their career.
But before I bring John in, what was the name of the app that you said that can tell me how to make my business? What was it? What was it?
Yo, that one's called Gamma.
Gamma?
Yeah, GAMM. It's just literally gamma.app. And that's just one of them,
How can people find out about these apps? It seems like another one comes out every day.
Yep.
It makes me feel very insecure.
Yep. It won't take your job yet, so don't worry.
No, actually, our job's gonna be TV will be gone. There'll be avatars.
Oh yeah. Well, that means you could be chilling on the beach.
Well, I'll be panhandling in crypto. But think about some more of apps that we can share with folks, but all of this comes down to something that really I think John needs to speak to. There are two different futures out there. There's a future where we're using these tools to get healthier, to get smarter, to put jetpacks on our entrepreneurs, we could really, as a community, just rise, or we could get wiped out. And it really does come down to some of the stuff that X was talking about, the need for us to step up and help shape this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wish that there was somebody on this panel who had a relationship with Sam Altman, who's kind of the Steve Jobs of this whole field now. He's like the best known, et cetera, et cetera. OpenAI, everybody's talking about it. Your kids are using to cheat right now. If some black leader, some champion of the people had a relationship with Sam Altman, and if that person could have convinced Sam Altman to create a whole ethics panel and to put that person in charge. Isn't that you? First of all, how did the hell that happen? Why the hell did Sam Altman create an ethics panel to deal with X's problem and put you in charge of it? Just tell the relational story on that before we even talk about what you see.
Well, I'm not actually in charge of it. We're co-chairs.
Okay, co-chairs.
First of all, hello, everybody. I'm from the Black church. I'm used to seek and respond. I think Van Jones is brilliant. Don't you agree?
Yeah, very kind, very kind.
We don't have time for this conversation. I mean, I'm glad you're having it. But you could do this one thing all day for 3 days and still run out of room.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try to do this in a couple minutes. But to answer your question, actually, where I'm going tonight, which is the McMillan conference, is where all this started. I was at the McMillan conference where Sam and I have been talking about the future. And I told him I went to his office before he announced any of this, and he said, "Let me show you something."
Mm.
And he flipped open his Mac, and I was like, "What is that?" And I said, "Look, you can't do that unless you go from the suites to the streets. You've got to include us in that conversation. Technology, Silicon Valley has never included an underserved population, people of color, who would be in fact impacted most. When you go on your tour, you got to come to us first." And his team said, "Oh, he's busy and his schedule changed." I said, "To hell with that. He needs to come to our community." I sent him a note. And he said, "Let me work on it." A few weeks later, I'm in Beverly Hills at the McMillan conference. It's 2 a.m. And he pings me. "Hey, the White House just called me. My tour just got pushed up. I got to go to the White House. I think it was in 4 days. Can I come to Atlanta when I leave the White House?" What day? I think I had 3 days from that day. Called Dr. French at Clark Atlanta University, called Ambassador Andrew Young, who is today's Nelson Mandela, in my opinion.
Yes.
Who built Atlanta into the international city south. Anyway, so and we had this meeting, and Dr. King's family was there, and all the luminaries showed up. All of us showed up. Them showed up, sorry. And it was the most terrifying meeting in my life.
Why?
And,
why?
I mean, I've never been more inspired and more frightened all at one time in a 2-hour period. We're going to go from horse and buggy. So we went from a horse and buggy to the automobile in about 55 years, 1850 to 1905. And by the way, there were 100 automobile companies in 1900 to 1907 that were stood up. We think about a couple of them. There was 100 of them. Most of them didn't survive. So to Charles and X's point, there's a lot of there's a lot of capital is going to get wasted. There's a lot of things that shouldn't happen, but make no mistake about it, capitalism is a gladiator sport. Ain't nobody sitting around waiting for perfection or waiting for something to get ripped. No, folks are all in this right now while we're sitting here.
Yep.
And they'll think, like, hey, we'll see what shakes out, but we're not gonna be sitting on the side waiting. Capitalism is a gladiator sport, and it ain't personal. It's not emotional. And it's do more than PhD. And so this is what took 60 years, from 1850 to 1910. It's going to take 5 years. Before 2030, everything will change as you know it. I did some quick research on sitting here, Van. And, we don't have time to go through this, but I could tell you the industries that were around in 1850, and it was everything. If you had a horse, you were balling. It was your transportation. It was your manufacturing. It was class. It was your sense of wealth. It was industry. It was public transportation. It was everything. And by 1910, it was glue.
Glue.
I'm not kidding.
The horse
like the most
factory.
valuable thing you could do in 1910 with a horse was turn it into glue. It just all decimated.
Right.
You're going to have between 16 to 30% of all jobs in the next 5 to 8 years. Poof, disruption.
16 to 30% of all jobs.
And when white folks have a headache, black folks have pneumonia. So you can, just ramp up the numbers. I mean, I can go through the industries that are highly impacted: manufacturing, transportation, retail, including fast food restaurants where Pookie and them are working. Don't act like you don't know who Pookie and them is. Customers. By the way, it's happening right now. Go to the airport. Remember 5 years ago, you go to the airport and there was 8 people working there, and one person had an attitude. And what you want? That person's gone. Now you go back there and there's 3 people working, one person doing oversight. There's a tablet you push to put your order in. That's automation happening right in front of you. Go to the grocery store. I was at the grocery store 2 nights ago. There was 8, what do you call them? Checkout counters. Yeah. One had a person at it. There was the self-checkout. There was one person overseeing 10 self-checkout counters. It's happening right in front of you. We just don't recognize it. So this whole thing is transforming right in front of us. So it was terrifying to me because I don't think anybody's ready.
Right.
It's not slowing down. It's actually speeding up. And if you hang around 9 broke people, you'll be the 10th. Now here's a bit of good news in the middle of this. And coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. I didn't know, I'm not this smart. I didn't know I was doing this. But in the pandemic, George Floyd gets murdered, I get Toby Lutke, who's the 5th richest man in Canada, owns Shopify, founded it, to make a $130 million 10-year commitment to help me create 1 million Black businesses in America, 1 MBB. And he said, sure. And there's a story behind that because actually his commitment ended up in my spam folder. And I thought he said no. And he was like, I said yes to 130 million. I missed the whole thing. Check your spam folder. And anyway, today we have created 400,000 Black businesses in 4 years.
Wow.
And that's on e-commerce. That's on the e-commerce platform. So if you have a restaurant, now you can have an e-restaurant. You have a barbershop or a nail salon or a hair salon. It doesn't have to be high tech. Now you can have an e-version of that. So I can schedule, when I'm flying in at night, I can schedule that barbershop visit on your platform, on Shopify as example. You can get my credit card in case I don't show up. So now you get a fee. Now I can order some more stuff. So you build wealth in your sleep. You make money during the day, you build wealth in your sleep. So so that's 400,000 businesses. The number one group that started businesses after the pandemic were Black people. And the number one group amongst all group were Black women. So we're not lacking hustle. We're not lacking initiative. Go ahead. I'm done. I told you can't do this.
I'm just trying to get people.
And by the way, Sam was equally terrified.
Yes,
he was hopeful and terrified, which is why I trust him.
Look, I think that Black people need AI because we can put jetpacks on a lot of our functions and get ahead of folks who are also scared and don't know what they're doing. I also think AI needs Black people.
That part.
Because our ethics, our values, our sense of what's right and wrong needs to be foundational. I want to give you the last word, and then I'm going to give you some homework and an invitation. But you are unbelievably cool and calm. This is a highly emotional topic. Everybody is trying to jump out windows. People putting their head in the sand. People are scared. You are just smooth.
Because there's upside.
Talk about the upside.
So let me give you an example. There's a company in an area called dental AI. And what that means is they take basically AI technology, analyze dental x-rays. With that, they automatically populate the claim, send that directly to the insurance company and in real time get it approved. That whole process used to take a very long time. You had special codes you had to put in, lots of errors. Insurance companies didn't want to pay it because you made errors, you misdiagnosed. So the person who's a claims manager now, we used to send all of that to India. The person who's a claims manager now can have a lower barrier to entry and take that job in the US. We can do more jobs that we've been shut out of by leveraging AI. So there'll be new jobs categories created
Okay.
We just have to follow and know where those are. Get away from these jobs over here, they're going to be eliminated. And let's shift and focus on these new things called AI assisted jobs. So I give you 1,000 examples like that. That's
Give one or two more, just because I don't want these people to be so depressed.
Well, I can't stop that.
But two more examples, and I'll give you your homework and invitation, and we'll hand it back over to the boss.
Yeah, so there's a company called Klena that is a fintech company. And so what they did was apply AI to customer service. They had a bunch of agents who, they do a buy now, pay later. So people call in, cancel things, refunds, whatever. There's always some problem. They announced in February that AI is now performing the equivalent of additional 700 support agents online, doing it faster, doing it cheaper, 24/7, 35 different languages. They didn't fire people. They said, but that's a service that we couldn't have done. Now we can have 24/7 support. So that person who's been calling in, waiting on hold for 20 minutes, frustrated, they're much more productive now, get time back. Everybody benefits from that. Another example, there's another company that's looking at working for UPS. They do $3 billion, 3 billion deliveries a year. They're merging shipments at certain points, and so the truck doesn't show up in a neighborhood half empty, making sure there's merge points, but you got to see all the shipments and do all the analysis and what packages fit in what truck. That driver can be more efficient. That's the job we have. We're having a lot of those jobs. You can make one trip, a much better lifestyle. So there's benefits to all of us to getting more efficient in some of these areas, but we just got to identify those areas where it's all about the data, by the way. The reason that Copilot of Microsoft is so good is because all the developers put their code in one place that Microsoft owns and said, learned off of that. We should be looking for the data pools. Who owns a certain amount of data that nobody else has? You train on that data, and then you have an advantage. So we should just educate ourselves on what jobs it can assist us on, what are the private data pools that we can take advantage of, and let's go in that direction.
Look, every time I have these conversations, I have lower self-esteem. So I think this is the most important conversation that we can be having. I want to give you some homework. There are 2 books that I think can get you very quickly up to speed so you can start being innovative and smart. One is called Competing in the Age of AI. Competing in the Age of AI, Strategy and Leadership When Algorithms and Networks Run the World. That is a very practical book. And there's another book called The Coming Wave by Mustafa that gives you a big overview. Literally, by this time next week, you could have read both books, and you will be ahead of 99% of people in this conversation. And then there are these various and sundry apps. So that's the homework assignment.
But if you don't want to read the book, you could just go on ChatGPT and get a summary.
It's lower and lower and lower, the self-esteem, man. It's just going down. I want to also give you an invitation. Stephen and Idaline, by the way, just give them a round of applause. You don't know them yet, but you will. Just raise your hands, raise your hands, raise your hands, raise your hands. Thank you. We're part of a team called dreammachine.org, and we're running a campaign with Will.i.am called Make Wakanda Real. Make Wakanda Real, to get young people excited about this technology, not afraid of it, and using it to make our communities better. June 15th, we're going to be in Atlanta. If you want to know more about that, Idaline and Steve are right here. You can also go to dreammachine.org. And the last thing I'll say is this. Look, 99% of Black folk don't know anything about AI, don't know anything about quantum computing, and don't know anything about biotech. And 99% of white folk don't either. 99% of white folk don't either. This is the first and only equality you are ever going to see. We are equally ignorant about this new stuff.
Jump ball.
It's jump ball. It's jump ball. It's jump ball. And so it literally is in our hands, whether or not we miss another train, and this might be the last train moving, or whether we jump on the train and drive it. You literally have one of the original, and the reason he's so cool and calm is he's already set the game up, and he's in our community. X has already figured out where all the problems are. This dude's got a bunch of money, and this dude's got Sam Altman in a therapy hub. Now look, black folk, I don't know what more y'all want from God than the people on this panel. So give them a round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you, brother.
Wasn't that cool? Yes, that was really, really cool. I appreciate you all bearing with me to kind of watch that, but I think it's was well worth the watch to kind of level set, what's going on in the AI space and the opportunity that we have. And so I shared a document. Google document today's newsletter, so you can grab that out of the chat. And then also I shared what did I share? Where is it? Oh, the kind of like an AI summary of the video we just watched. But so last year and this year for the Black Innovation Summit, I've been trying to help people understand about innovation and so they can kind of take advantage of some of the opportunities out here. And but AI is the number one driver for innovation, a number one tool for innovation. And there is a lot of tools out there. And so I listed a few tools in the newsletter, but I've been trying to help leverage these tools and also writing some prompts to help people figure out their business models, figure out how to continuously grow their companies. But the technology is there. And like X said, it's like there's so many, you can literally use it to help you learn anything. You don't have to wait on a teacher to do it. It's leveling the education thing. So like if you want to leverage AI in your startup, you have to be aware of the tools that are out there that you can use to kind of move your entrepreneurship forward, or your business forward, to help it like grow. And there's definitely no shortage of tools. So if you have any questions or comment, I'll be glad to answer them. Just definitely want to remind everyone about the opportunity get to with a Black Founders Innovation Summit, because that's literally what's going to be our theme, and to kind of make sure you understand the tools that are out there and the opportunities that's out there to kind of help you move forward with your startup. So yeah, that's what's going on. Anybody got any comments about the video, the YouTube video? And I can actually put the link to the video in the chat as well. So because it definitely, and may have to back it up a little bit. I just got a little timestamp on it, but to have an opportunity to kind of listen to some of the folks that are out there, in the heat of the battle with all this stuff, I think it's really, really, really fantastic. Yes. All righty. So we'll see you all next week if you don't have any questions, and definitely take a look at the newsletter. There are a lot of opportunities in the newsletter, funding opportunities. There's just so many opportunities out there, funding wise, training wise, mentorship wise. There's just so many things out there, and if you're not leveraging them, how can you actually expand and grow your business faster? So, but we'll appreciate all of you all, and we're here to help. Definitely keep engaged. That's what keep engaged, keep asking questions, leverage our AI agents. And if you don't know where the link to get access to those agents, feel free to reach out to me, and we can kind of help you keep moving forward. Appreciate you all, and we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye, everyone.
Here's a detailed breakdown of our Black Founders Program achievements and components. Program Reach and Impact, Global Reach, supporting over 500 founders worldwide, focusing on Black founders who often encounter systemic barriers in the startup ecosystem. Training and cohorts, delivered structured, hands-on training over the past 2 years. 9 30-day business model design cohorts, guided founders through designing scalable business models using the Lean Stack platform. 3 90-day launch programs, supported startups in validating demand, launching solutions, and refining their offerings. Our first Black Founders Innovation Summit attracted 92 in-person attendees and 182 registrants. Included networking events, speaker presentations, and panel discussions to provide diverse perspectives and practical insights. Training platforms used. Lean Stack, focused on scalable business model design and launch, with practical tools for customer discovery and validation. Startup Science provides education tailored to each phase of the startup lifecycle. Co-Founder OS measures entrepreneurial skills, offers certifications, and provides frameworks for building confidence in navigation the startup ecosystem. Patent Hacks trains founders on intellectual property, including patents and trademarks, to protect and leverage their innovations. Key goals and focus areas. Knowledge and resource bridging helps founders acquire critical startup knowledge, connections, and opportunities to secure funding and resources. Scalable Solutions emphasizes building sustainable, scalable business models to ensure long-term success. Diversity and Inclusion supports Black founders by providing a space where their unique challenges and perspectives are addressed. Event highlights over 200 consecutive weekly startup founder best practices events since October 2020. These provide ongoing support, practical insights, and networking opportunities for founders. 10 demo days, which serve as accountability milestones where founders pitch present progress, e.g. the 3P progress report, persevere, pivot, or pause. Focus on wealth creation in emerging industries, encouraging Black founders to participate in opportunities like AI and other tech innovations. The Black Founders Program reflects our strong commitment to equipping Black entrepreneurs with the tools, knowledge, and ecosystem connections they need to succeed.